There is still some backlash from that reported industrial action conducted by immigration officers at the Lynden Pinling International Airport on Saturday past. It's reportedly the result of an ongoing disagreement between the union representing the officers and the government. ZNS News was first to report Prime Minister Hubert Ingram's comments on the matter, where he indicated that during a time when the country should have been celebrated internationally, we were embarrassed. He ordered those officers to return to work on Sunday, which they did. Our Clint Watson has more on the Prime Minister's press conference.
Prime Minister Hubert Ingram says he refuses to be pressured by special interest groups who are not thinking about what's best for the country.
When the election is coming up, lots of people think now is the time to make my demands, now is the time to make my grab, now is the time to get it. Because this is the time when they are their weakest moment, and this is the time they'll be most responsive to me. But the reality is, when we are doing business like this, it doesn't matter whether it's election time or not election time. I should do what I consider to be best for the Bahamas.
After meeting a week ago with the Prime Minister, the Bahamas Customs, Immigration and Allied Workers Union announced they were reverting to general orders, claiming Mr. Ingram said he was not following a previously signed industrial agreement, but general orders.
All civil servants are subject to the general orders of the Bahamas, all civil servants. That's reality. They have some contractual terms that take them outside some of the provisions of general orders, but every civil servant is subject to general orders.
Mr. Ingram suggests the actions are politically motivated since during that meeting, talks appeared amicable and most of the issues resolved.
The shift system is in effect. In fact, if many of them would check their terms and conditions of employment, they will find that since 1996, nearly all of them have been hired by the public service with a condition in their contract that say, you shall work on shift.
The Prime Minister says the question of overtime is behind the Bahamas and no amount of agitation by the union will change that.
The Bahamas is never going to go back to the days of paying millions and millions of dollars in overtime pay to customs and immigration officers. It was my predecessors in office who finally came to terms with what we had started quite some time ago when we were in office before, when they signed a contract with the union eliminating overtime. It was my government that implemented it. What we will pay overtime for is in respect of any public officer who is required to work in excess of the 40 hours per week, 5 days per week, 8-hour shift, and sometimes we give them time off in lieu of pay, depending on their grade and their status in the public service.
The government has also increased the starting salary for immigration trainees. Clint Watson, ZNS News.